When the Soviet space program was in its prime, it was standard issue for the cosmonauts to carry a specially made shotgun, along with several rounds of ammunition. Was there something out in space that the space explorers felt they needed to defend themselves from? Did they fear the possibility of confronting hostile alien life? Were they afraid of their own crewmates going mad in the cramped spacecraft and having to take drastic measures? As it turns out, the truth is a whole lot more controversial, sparking debates from across the world, and it all started with a crash landing. The Voskhod 2 space shuttle had a slight calibration problem, veering off course during re-entry. It landed 390 kilometers or 240 miles away from its destination. Fortunately, the two astronauts on board, Pavel Bayayev and Alexei Leonov, were unharmed. However, they were inside the Siberian forests, far away from any civilization. It could take days for the rescue teams to come and find them, meaning the duo was left to fend for themselves. They had food, water, and shelter. The real concern was the predators. Wolves and bears hunted at night, and in the cold tundra, they may be more willing to risk attacking a human for a meal. Soviet scientists accounted for this, arming the cosmonauts with a 9mm semi-automatic. But Leonov soon realized out in the wild that the small firearm would do almost nothing to a 230-kilo bear. After 2 stressful nights in the wild, the cosmonauts were saved before a bear could find them. After returning to their base, Leonov received an award for his spacewalk and became the deputy commander of the Soviet space program. With his new influence, Leonov insisted that better caliber weapons were necessary for cosmonauts to defend themselves in the wild. Just because Leonov and Belyayev were lucky didn't mean that they should leave the lives of future cosmonauts to chance. Leonov's efforts led to the invention of the TP-82 shotgun. This lightweight weapon could be taken to space and had more than enough power to take down a bear in dire situations. The TP-82 was included on every Russian space mission as part of the standard survival kit. Cosmonauts who practiced with the gun were amazed by both its power and accuracy, cementing it as a weapon far ahead of its time. It wasn't until 2007 that the TP-82 was finally replaced with a standard semi-automatic pistol. Now, as you can imagine, the decision to have weapons powerful enough to take out bears inside an isolated space vessel has led to some concerns. We understand that there's a lot of pressure being kept in a confined space for long periods of time, and the last thing we want is for someone to snap with one of these weapons in their reach. Several experts in the United States have proposed putting guns on the outside of the ships, out of reach in space, but still accessible after landing. And when the Americans are proposing gun restrictions, you know it's serious. Yet guns are still allowed inside space vessels on Russian space programs. The Russian Space Agency will vote before each mission if a weapon should be brought on the space vessel. The ISS currently contains 2 firearms on board that are owned by the Russians, though everyone on board has complete access to them. For now, guns and Russian space programs are still a package deal. But who knows, they might be the only ones prepared when the aliens make the first attack.